I'm not a fearful person. I'm not. There's only two things in life that I am genuinely terrified of. Number one being beavers, which I've touched on before and I'll explain another time. And number two being bored. I hate being bored. I would rather have a dental exam than have nothing to do or think about or talk about or see or experience. I hate being bored. It is just pure agony. And construction is really good at making me bored. Whenever I first started, for about the first, a couple weeks, maybe month, everything was brand new. I'd just come here from working in construction, from working in a shopping center where I was stocking the shelves and working with some admittedly interesting coworkers, and I stopped with that and came out here to build shit, and that was interesting, and all these new and slightly trashy coworkers were interesting, and I thoroughly enjoyed it until I realized that you do the same damn thing over and over and over again. I'm an electrician. I install wire. I install devices. I make sure everything's according to the code. And I install wire. And I install devices. And I make sure everything's according to the code. Over and over and over again. Nothing different. Maybe occasionally I might pull a different color wire and then I just won't know how to act. Oh my God, this is brand new. My life has been changed. That's all it is. And for a very long time, I have always been adamant that I'm going to quit at some point and do something else because it is painfully monotonous. I hate it so much that I wind up stuck in a spot, in a situation, in a building, on a project for months at a time, doing the same fucking thing every day for 10 hours a day for, God bless if it's only 4 days a week, and never do anything new. Occasionally, I might be on a new project of some other type of building that I've never been to before in an area that I've never visited before. Maybe I'll go out of town to do something out of town, go to a different state, work with a different crew. That's about the only variability to this career path, and any variability winds up becoming monotonous within a couple days because there's nothing new to explore, nothing new to learn or do. You don't learn anything doing this job. I know that some fucking stupid electricians may say, oh, well, I'll tell you something, bud. If you ain't learning something new every day, you ain't doing your job right. Fucking 70-year-old wrinkle dick motherfuckers out here telling me that they are not bored as fuck and are not just putting on a good show to try and make me feel like I'm doing something wrong and need to get on their level. Anyhow, it happens, I guess. It is what it is. But earlier, just to give an example, I was bored as fuck. And I've been pulling low voltage cable all day. 3-conductor 18-gauge cable all day. I've pulled hundreds of feet of it in the past 5 hours. And I was so bored I was getting a headache. I actually was just extremely, genuinely upset to even be here, wishing to God that the minutes would not continue to feel as if they were passing like an hour apiece. It was horrendous. I sat down on a 5-gallon bucket and I looked at my phone. I brought up YouTube. I perused YouTube for probably 5 minutes trying to find anything in my recommended feed that I could just listen to, that I could click the video, turn off the screen, stick my phone in my pocket, and have something to listen to on my Bluetooth. Hopefully to take my mind off the fact that I wanted to stab myself in the neck with a piece of rebar. Because that would have been less painful than how extremely bored I was. And nothing was on the YouTube feed that would have been interesting. All these videos I've seen or listened to 100 times. It was horrible. Miserable. And so I just decided, you know what? Fuck it. I'll Google, I'm bored at work. And it came to a YouTube video with a psychologist who was making a little 6 to 8 minute long video. I wish I could remember what the name of the video was or what the name of the psychologist was, because it was such a good video. God, I was so happy to hear that. He was talking about some lobe in your brain. I wish I could remember I don't remember any of the details of the video now. It's so frustrating. I don't remember the name of the dude talking. I don't remember the name of the lobe of your brain, but basically the gist of it was that there is something in your brain. It's a lobe. that is constantly trying to learn something or constantly trying to find something new to look at or to explore or to experience. It's fascinated is what it is. It's the lobe of fascination, and the lobe that tries to keep you from feeling bored and becomes distressed when you're bored. And probably based on the way I was feeling, starts releasing fucking cortisol. The way I was feeling earlier felt like it was releasing muriatic acid. It was a very interesting video, and it kind of taught me a little bit about how I was feeling and let me express it and put it into fucking words instead of just feeling like I was moving underwater like I have been for weeks now. And after I got done with the video, I clicked off of YouTube, and okay, well, that was 8 minutes burnt pretty quickly. I was very happy about that, but I couldn't find anything else on the same topic that wasn't just rehashing what he'd already said. And then one of my coworkers, whom I actually despise, walked up. I have a lot of coworkers. A lot of them I don't like. Some of them are okay. But this particular coworker, he's not a bad dude. That's not his problem. He's not a bad guy. He's just... he's brand new to the industry, and I can sympathize with somebody that's brand new because I was brand new at one point too, and I felt like everybody hated me, and I didn't give a fuck. But I can sympathize with his newness and his kind of nervousness about having the job and wanting to do well. And part of that, it's the sentiment that he's expressing makes him ask me a whole bunch of questions about everything that he does. He always checks in with me anytime he's about to install something. And if I give him instructions on how to install something, he's got to rehash it for me to make sure that he got everything correct. And I've got to re-explain everything over again to affirm that sure enough you do understand what I'm telling you. Or maybe you missed this part and I need you to understand this. It burns up a lot of time whenever he asks questions because he doesn't just ask one. He will fucking borrow me for half an hour before he does the simplest, most bitch basic task. And it pisses me off because even after I have explained ad nauseum how to do a task, he still comes back later to ask more shit that I've already explained to him. And to just reconfirm with you, just wanted to make sure, and I wanted to make sure I'm not doing this wrong, and Mr. Bragg, I just want to make sure that I'm not fucking this up, and I need to make sure. I need you to pat me on the head, and tell me I've been a good little boy. Stupid kid, I hate it. I'm fine with answering questions. I'm just not fine with answering questions that should be common goddamn sense for anybody who doesn't even work in this industry. It's so frustrating. But it's okay. And I'll get over it. Because I'm glad that he's at least trying to not fuck up. No matter how fucked up his fucking up is when it comes to pissing me off. He came over and was going to ask me something. Again. And I listened to him. And I explained for the 40th time how to do what he's doing. And then he started talking about something that wasn't work related. And rather than just telling him I'm busy and walking away, like I have been, I actually listened to him. And I actually engaged him in conversation about something. And suddenly it's lunchtime. All I had to do was take my mind off my work and talk to somebody that I'm working with. I typically don't engage with my coworkers while I'm on the job. Not much. Not for more than a minute at a time. Because I don't like them. A lot of them are just not people I want to be around. And even this guy is the same way. But I actually sat there and talked to him and enjoyed it. And I realized that I've been stupid for the past couple weeks because I've forgotten what I always used to do whenever I got bored, which was to sing and to burp and to yell at people and to get in other people's business and antagonize the superintendent and all that kind of stuff that I did, because I realized that I had a captive audience, and if people didn't want to put up with me, they could either fire me or quit. And nobody's going to fire me because the labor vacuum being the way it is, I know that no matter how shitty somebody is, they're not going to get fired because it's all hands on deck. We'll take anybody that we can get. And I'm certainly better than at my job than most people. So I know that they're not going to fire me, and they want money, so they're not going to quit. So I could just act how I want. As long as I'm not punching somebody in the face, they can't get rid of me. So that's how I've been for a long time. And just lately, I've become more reserved. I've become more focused on my task, and that has been a problem. And that's something that I need to stop doing. I need to go back to being extroverted and obnoxious. Last couple weeks, like I say, I've been reserved, but whenever I first got out here, I realized that the general contractor superintendent of the job site, a fellow who looks just like John Bernthal, is extroverted, really, talks to a lot of different people, but he never talked to me. Something I was kind of perturbed about whenever I first got out here. It almost seemed like he was avoiding eye contact with me. And it didn't make any sense. Like, what the fuck, dude? I mean, you were just talking to my coworker here, who's standing right next to me, and you were blazing a hole in his face with how hard you were focusing on making eye contact with him. And during the entire conversation, he never made eye contact with me. He never once acknowledged that I was standing there. I was like, God damn, dude, what the fuck? Like, hello, good morning. Like, what's the deal here? Why are we not talking to each other? Later, I learned, because the superintendent of our company who's on this job went to some kind of meeting that they had that morning and said, I'll tell you what, Chris, they sure had some things to say about your hard hat. I said, what are you talking about? He said, that label that you've got on your hard hat over the company symbol. Why do you have that up there anyway? I said, well, I have this label put over my symbol so that people can't tell what company I work for whenever I am recording with a hard hat on. He said, oh, well, I tell you, they thought that was real funny. The general contractor didn't much care for it. He thought it was weird, kind of gay. I was like, okay. It's kind of odd. Just for context, this is the label. Looking like a snack. Same color as my hard hat. But anyhow, I thought maybe, okay, well, that's why he's upset with me. Maybe that's why he never wants to talk to me, is because he thinks I'm weird because of my hard hat label. So rather than doing what any other person would do and taking off the label or just staying away from the GC because he thinks I'm weird, I put myself into situations and put him into situations where he was forced to engage with me. Not just in a couple words, but he had to talk to me about entire designs for installations that I was doing. I made sure, no matter what, he had to talk to me about something. Some point during the day, we had to have a discussion. Paragraphs long. About had to write an essay to keep track of everything we were talking about. Before long, he was cool. Man will talk to me just as fast as he'll talk to anybody else. He's never said anything about my hard hat, but we're fine. No problem. And it just took me forcing myself on another man. Never thought I'd say that sentence. So that was something that I enjoyed doing. I enjoyed putting him into a situation where he had to talk to me. And although it may be a bit antagonistic, fuck it. But I've got about 5 minutes before I need to be heading back on to the job, so I'll just finish up because I wanted to play a couple chess puzzles on the app on my phone. I've been incredibly bored for a very long time. Occasionally, I might be able to find some short-term solution, like listening to a podcast or singing Never Gonna Give You Up in a group of 30 coworkers. But ultimately, I think the only long-term lasting solution is going to be to quit working for this company and working in this industry, period. Because everything's boring. It's incredibly monotonous. I don't like doing this. Uh, I used to say I'd rather be bored at work than fucking something up at work, and that was my way of coping with the fact that I was incredibly bored. But ultimately, some days I just want to throw a ladder, like fuck something up, make something new happen, and while being an ass to people that I'm working with does temporarily solve the problem. That little lobe in my brain that I was talking about has been very upset with me lately. And something's got to change. I actually asked the project manager for this job site if it was okay for me to video myself while I was working, to maybe like explain an installation that I was doing, or make a little how-to video or something to that effect. And no, you say we can't do that because of litigation reasons, and it's not legal to be able to do that sort of thing. You say, so I shot that out of the air, and I was really hoping to be able to do that because I thought that would kind of kill the boredom, but no. Stuck doing what I'm doing until I quit. Which I guess we'll see what happens.